It's the Playhouse Podcast with Kat and JJ.
Can't believe it. I missed everything.
Missed the show?
What am I going to do?
Check out the Daily Podcast.
Imagine having one grandchild a year and a half ago, and you were never able to meet them until now. That story popped up in the live show this morning, and it was great. That's coming up in a couple of minutes, so hang tight for that as we get the podcast started. Pretty safe to say that between the months of November, December, January, and February, like those are the craziest months of the year for people that work retail, and you've never once worked a retail job.
No, I didn't. I was server, and I was what they call a tour guide at Rainforest Cafe. I worked at a skate park. I worked at Dairy Queen for a couple of weeks, but I worked a lot of like alone jobs, like opening up community ed at my mom's school. I worked that for like 5 years. That was a good gig.
So when I was a junior in college, I had worked at this place called Games by James in the Mall of America. And this was during the Beanie Baby phase where people were losing their ish about Beanie Babies. And it kind of made me start thinking about, like, that was a fun job for me. I really loved when the store was packed. The problem was there was so much theft. And since I was like the biggest guy that worked there, I'd always get to stand at the door.
Oh, nice.
You know what I mean? And it was just kind of supposed to be intimidating people, right? And because you weren't supposed to chase them down. They didn't want you, like, risking your life for, a checkers board game or something like that.
Right.
But I did have a woman come up to me once, and this is I'm probably going to get the name wrong, but I think one of the most popular Beanie Babies at the time. And remember, like, some people are getting hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for certain ones.
Can you imagine having that tote like my mother-in-law does in her basement?
But they're worthless now, right?
Yeah, worthless. So what do you do with them?
And everybody was mad at the Haktua girl for the Bitcoin.
I know.
But this woman had come in, and what would happen is we'd get these Beanie Babies, and we would just dump the box. And then when the gates opened, people would rush this pile of Beanie Babies that weren't sorted out. And they'd be throwing them around and grabbing them and everything like that. And one woman had come in one day, and it was close to Christmas, and it said, "Do you guys have any of the Garcia babies?" And that was like the big, and I think that was the one that was like, it was tie-dyed. It was supposed to be named after Jerry Garcia because it had the Grateful Dead look to it, right?
Okay.
And we never knew which ones we had. The phone would ring constantly. "Hi, Games by James, Mall of America. Do you have this one?" I'm like, "I don't know. We have a big pile of them. I don't know. We don't keep the inventory." And this woman came in, and I'm standing there, and she goes, "Are there any Garcia ones in there?" And I said, I don't know, lady. I'm sorry. And she goes, $500 if you can get me 3 of them.
Wow.
Right. So in the back of my head, I'm a starving college kid, right?
You're about to be a Beanie Baby dealer.
I was like, oh, my God. Like, what if when that next shipment came in, I sorted through it.
Yeah.
I put 3 aside for this lady, right? Like, all these thoughts are going through my head, even though I knew it wasn't right. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, $500 at that point was like, it feels like 10 grand now. And I didn't because I never had access to any of it. So I guess the threat wasn't really that real. But I was like, as a retail worker, you get some of the strangest questions. And I'm glad Tammy called. Tell us about what happened. You were working retail. What'd they ask you?
Okay, so the weirdest one was this woman. She had bought $400 worth of stuff.
Okay.
And she came up to me and she's like, "Hey, don't you think I get this stuff free?" And I'm like, "I don't know. You gonna need a good reason. There has to be a really good reason." She's like, "Oh, my mom died." And the way she said this was kind of like, I don't know. It was kind of weird how she said it. It was kind of like, she should be sad, but she was kind of like, I don't know, maybe happy about it. I don't know.
So she thought just because her mom had passed away, she could get $400 worth of free clothes.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I'm sorry for your loss. I can only imagine, but
right.
I don't think I can. And she's like, "Are you sure?" And she pulled out her phone and started showing me pictures, and I'm just like, she even showed pictures of her mom in the hospital dead.
Oh, my God.
That is so morbid.
That's bananas.
And you don't know. Somebody like that is not all the way with it. What if this is a scam? What if she does this all the time and she just has random pictures of dead people on her phone?
And I'm about to say, I hope she ain't got no more pictures. I'm about to say, is there any more dead people unless she got pictures of? Because I don't know if I can handle all that. So I was about to say, I might need to talk to my manager and let him deal with this because it was just weird. And she was still poking, and she was like, showing me, the obituary. And I'm like,
wow,
got the obituary too? I'm about to say, she just be carrying that around?
Where did you hide stuff when you were a kid? You didn't want mom and dad to find it. You probably had a hiding spot in your room or somewhere in the house. Where was yours?
Mine was in my closet to the far left, but like I had it in something. My dad used to have those big, heavy army artillery, like
the shell boxes.
carrying cases. Yeah. And so I'd lock it, and my sister would always find it and out me. But I didn't really have too much to hide. I know that there are just crazy stories from Derek. Derek he was a good kid, but he was a weird kid. You know, I don't know if you can grasp that, but he would hide his mom's. He would run out and get her
Panties.
Fredericks of Hollywood.
Oh.
Gross. Her Fredericks of Hollywood catalogs that would come in the mail. He would see the mail driver drop it off. He would rush out there, get it, so he could look at all the girls in their panties. And then he'd hide it up in his tile ceiling. So that was his.
I had a spot where there was a gang of us growing up in this little town. If your dad had a collection of Playboys,
Yeah.
you could always probably like get one out of there without him noticing. And I had a few, and what I would do is I had a chest of drawers, take the bottom drawer all the way out so that you could see the carpet through the bottom,
Yeah.
and they would go under that drawer because if mom or dad were ever putting clothes away or something, they would find it in the drawer, but they would never take the drawer all the way out. So it was a perfect hiding spot.
So I should text my cousin. I have an older cousin. He was like 15, 18 years older than us, but he would get his Playboys and he would keep it in the black slip that goes over it. You know, like if you were to sell it at a gas station,
Sure.
you'd have to keep a black slip over it. And I bet he could make some money. If they were still in mint condition, you could make some money.
Yeah,
off
those are collector's items.
Yeah.
Now, Paul, where did we hide stuff when we were a kid?
Okay, so where my bedroom was downstairs, and obviously the older houses didn't have the greatest ceilings. It was one of those drop tile ceilings, if
Sure.
you guys remember those.
Yep.
And we just popped one of the tiles up from right above my bed, and we would just hide everything up in there, whatever you needed, snacks, magazines, everything like that. And
I
then,
feel like as a mom, that's the first place I would look. If we had tile
There's a
ceilings.
lot of tiles up there, and like you'd have to get in a ladder and look around with a flashlight.
You just have to pop one up with a flashlight and just survey. And I can't believe they never found your stuff.
Oh, no, they were too busy searching underneath mattresses, in the drawers, underneath clothes. So
Yeah.
that drop tile ceiling worked out perfect. And funny enough, it still works out to this day. We've still got some snacks hidden up in there. It still works. It's still good.
I forgot when I was a little bit older, when I was back from college, we had some oregano that I didn't want my mom and dad to find out about it. And if you put it in 3 plastic baggies and have something that's got a little weight to it in with it, you can put it inside the toilet tank in your basement toilet. That you're the only one that uses that because you only have the only room down there.
Yeah.
And it won't get found.
Good idea.
I heard from a guy
Who knew a guy
who knew a guy
that baked with
who
oregano?
sold a lot of oregano. Hi, Terry. How you feeling this morning?
Just great. On my way to work.
Excellent. So back in the day when you were a kid, where would you hide stuff from mom and dad?
I would hide my beer in the back of the toilet because it's in the tank. That's the coldest water in the house.
Same. Yeah, that's it.
How many did you fit in there?
Oh, you could fit, like 6 of them. And it's the coldest water in the house, so I would just keep it in the back of the tank.
And then it wouldn't put the water up? Like, I feel like it would displace some water as it... Oh, okay.
Nope, not at all.
Now, you're way smarter than us because we had a spot in the woods that we dug out with a shovel, and then we would rebury it, but we always knew it was one spot in the woods, and we'd always take some kind of a marker, whether it was like a trowel or a spade or something like that, and lay it right next to it. And we knew that ground would pop right back up because we had it dug so well in there, and it was just kind of a layer over it. But that was always warm beer then, but you at least had cold beer on demand.
Yes.
Smart,
Yes.
smart. And did you learned this from someone? Was it an older brother, sister, or a friend?
A friend had told me about it.
See, the back of the toilet. What can't you hide back there? Hi, Vanessa. How are you doing today?
Good, thank you.
We're great too. Thanks for asking. We were talking earlier about, places you would hide stuff as a kid. And this wasn't you, but your uncle had a unique spot to hide his stuff, huh?
Yes, God rest his soul, Mike Fallon. As a kid, the bullets were no object, spending-wise.
Sure.
And they lived on a farm, and they would practice with their guns or whatever, but he would save all the shotgun shells, and he would hide his money in it. And my grandma could not understand why he would have cases of shotgun shells saved in his closet.
Yeah.
And come to find out, he would roll up his money because he didn't believe in banks back then or whatever, you know.
So evil.
And he would roll up his money and put them in shotgun shells.
So that's just so dangerous because he could have a wife like me where I just throw out anything I see. And so if she's not in on it, then they're out thousands of dollars.
So get this, the funny part is my mom was cleaning his room and she picked up all this stuff, and the minute that he got home, he saw that his room was clean and closet or whatever, and he's like, where the heck is my shotgun shells? And my mom's like, well, I put them out by the burning barrel.
Oh.
He's like,
No. Oh,
but,
my gosh.
But they didn't burn it. They didn't burn that day.
Oh, my God. I wonder how much he'd have lost if they'd have put that in the fire.
Oh, my gosh. I don't know, but my mom said that he had like 7 or 8 cases of shotgun shells.
Wow.
And he would roll up his money and save it in there.
Jeez.
As a kid, you know, as a kid.
Yeah. We
That's
have a guy
crazy.
that we work with that is about that age, and he is a subscriber that you should always keep most of your money at home.
Listen,
and I'm like, that.
I like FDIC insured, man.
Get this Dunkin' audio ready for me. The 6-year-old with cerebral palsy loves Dunkin' Donuts so much in Virginia, her hometown of Virginia, that on Thursday got a pretty cool honor.
We started bringing him every Sunday to get a donut, and immediately donuts became his favorite thing. And so that's what he wanted to be for Halloween. So was a Dunkin' Donut worker. He got to have this special day. It means a lot to us and to him. I mean, I didn't have to do anything today. He took over. He smiled. He loved it.
That's pretty cool.
If I could be like an honorary dolphin trainer, I would love that.
I was along the same lines. I was going to say I had a former radio job. We used to do tons of stuff at the zoo, and every once in a while they would let me play catch with the big beach ball with the polar bears.
So cool.
I would want to be one of the trainers, or at least the caretakers of the polar bears.
Yeah, think about if you could be an honorary worker somewhere. Right now, maybe not your dream job, but if it could be, what would it be? I would love to be a barista for one morning, because you guys really do hold the key to somebody having a good day. If their coffee order is correct, if you have a smile on your face, hello, welcome, how's your morning going? Like, that goes a long way.
How about a judge?
A judge can make or break your life? Absolutely. But why do you have that smile on your face?
I see some of those judges that I'll see like on my Instagram reels that like sit there and actually hear the people's story, and they just don't go by the book. And they're like, you know, I remember it's one old guy, and I think he's out
I know
east.
who you're talking about.
And then he's got I don't know, it's not the bailiff, that's not the right word, but he's got a guy with him that he explains the case to him, and he brings a nice older gentleman, and they're like, we got you on a traffic thing for running a red light. And he's like, well, I was taking my wife to her chemotherapy treatment. And she's like, well, how old's your wife? You know, he like talks through it, and he seems like a nice guy. He's that far into his career where he's like, listen, we're going to rub out this ticket.
Yeah.
I want to make sure your wife is doing well. I hope you have a good, or he hears these people out. They're like,
I love watching him. And then he'll bring up like the kids, like, you know, is your mom a good driver? And they'll be like, no, she always texts. And he's like, well, you got to stop texting while you're driving.
April, you could have an honorary job for a day. It would be like what?
I like traveling, so maybe like a pilot.
I was going to say, if you like traveling, maybe like a flight attendant, because then...
Pilot's better. I would rather fly.
No, flight attendant, you can have some cocktails. A pilot can't drink at all. So
That's true. Good point there. Yes. You can sneak a little shot in.
That's where Kat draws the line, apparently. Can I booze or not?
we'll have a Mai Tai on the beach, but the pilot can't. Got to sit in the hotel room.
Bingo. How fun.
Last week, someone lost an eye at bingo.
Bingo.
Bingo what bingo?
Bingo. Bingo. Okay, here's how listener bingo works. I'll take the phones off hold here in a couple of seconds, but only the first person through gets to share their story. Maybe you're somebody listening who
is just always prepared for anything. This TSA busted a 91-year-old woman with a sword hidden inside of her cane here.
Looks like a cane. It was brought by a 91-year-old woman on Saturday. And when it was placed through the x-ray, because we do x-ray every piece of personal property people are traveling with, here's what they found. This is called a cane sword. And so the cane is concealed in the handle of the sword itself. They're a big item at flea markets.
Okay, but the 91-year-old, when questioned, she said, "You never know when you'll need a sword."
She knew she was bringing a sword onto an airplane.
Yeah. Well, she bought it at a swap meet, thought it was pretty cool, but also dubbed as a cane, and she needed the stable walking. And so she's like, they'll never bust me. Plus, I'm 91. They're not going to bust me.
Now she's on the no-fly list.
Yeah, but she's prepared for anything, even a sword fight. But this weekend, we're sitting there watching basketball, our first game, and somebody kept farting. And it was the worst smell. And we didn't want to embarrass anybody, but it was a very small space. Like, it could have only been like a couple of people that
Smell like an old person or a young person?
Yeah, it was like an old person butt. And I was like, oh my God, this is the worst. And it was 4, then 5 times, and it would linger. And my mother-in-law takes out this big Ziploc bag of stuff. She has an inhaler in that. She doesn't have asthma, just in case somebody has asthma.
I don't think you're supposed to be giving anyone else.
She has an inhaler. She had Advil, Tylenol, Band-Aids. She had peppermint oil. So we were passing it along like how you wake up dead people or almost dead people to get the smell out of our area. So she was always prepared too. So you're just prepared for anything.
ABP. I'm going to go looking for anyone listening who, over this holiday season or maybe early in the new year, you're going to reconnect with somebody from your family or a friend that you just haven't seen forever. You moved away, they moved away because of whatever life brought your way. You just haven't seen them in forever, so it's going to be a pretty sweet reunion. Now, if either of these fit, it is time to call now, okay? Amy, which one's going to get you the bingo this morning?
I'm going to see my granddaughter, who is a year and a half for the first time.
Oh, my God.
You don't sound old enough to be a grandma.
I am a grandma, but I do have to share. Can I share a quick funny story about being prepared? Because I'm also that person. I worked as a director of nursing, and I went to help a resident put her teeth in one day. Her nephew's a dentist. She pulled out a Ziploc bag full of dentures, all kinds of dentures.
She could, depending on the day, she could fit her fit.
She was prepared for everybody to have teeth.
Well, I mean, yeah, you don't want to have anybody denied the right to eat a steak. But it also has to be fitted per mouth. Like, everybody's mouth is different.
She did not realize that. So
you mean it's not like woodworking, whereas if you can match it up close enough and you screw it in a little tighter, it kind of rebonds. Like, you can't just kind of have your teeth in my mouth. That doesn't work.
No, it's the jaw.
Yes. The sad part is I'm not sure which teeth were hers because she put her own in there.
That's really gross. Hey, I have a question for you. Why did it take a year and a half to meet your granddaughter?
We've been kind of my daughter-in-law. There was an issue where she got upset with me, and so I never got to see a picture or see my granddaughter.
You haven't even seen a picture of her yet?
I saw a picture. My mom showed me one, but she wasn't supposed to.
Oh, jeez.
So,
and when do you get to meet her?
Yeah.
How far out is this?
A week and a half.
A week and a half. Oh, it's going to be a sweet reunion. Now, are you going to be spoiling the hell out of her, or is that going to cause more problems?
Oh, yeah. I bought a lot, but I'm not going to give her all of it at once.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, I'm really sorry that happened to you, because when people hold children hostage over adult issues, I think it's pretty petty.
But it's kind of the time of the year, though. You know what I mean? Like, if you're willing to put that stuff behind you and reconnect, it is a good time for that. So I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
And do me a favor. When you get a picture with her, because I'm guessing you're going to, text it to us real quick so we can see your smiles.
I do. I will.
Hey, not too late for you to get in on this $1,000 shopping spree KCLD's giving away with JF Cruz Jewelers. All you have to do is text the word Kringle, as in Kris Kringle, Kringle. You can do that right now to 320-251-1047, and you could end up with $1,000 in free jewelry as we wrap up the podcast. You know, everybody's going to talk about what happened in 2024. What'd you do for the very first time this year? That's my question, and that's what I'm looking for. You did something for the very first time in 2024. Anything stick out for you?
Want to know what I did this weekend?
For the very first time in your life?
Very first time in my entire life, I've never played beer pong.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
We play it every year in Cancun, but I watch and I film people playing. I've never once thrown a pong ball into cups, and I did so well.
Yeah, you think you did pretty well?
Yeah, but I went up against a guy that I think did it professionally, you know, so he was always winning, but it was so fun, and it did the trick. I went to that ugly sweater party, and they had it all set up.
What are you proud of, or maybe you just realized when we asked the question, I did that for the very first time in 2024. Trey's been waiting to tell us all about it. What'd you do, man?
Man, first time ever. Sat front row at a concert. Man.
Nice.
So which one?
Yeah, who'd you see?
Took my daughter to see Taylor Swift.
Wow.
Dad of the year.
Front row seats at Taylor.
How much did that run you? Do I even want to know?
I don't even want to repeat it. To be honest, I spent $14,000 total.
But did you have that moment, that memory that will last forever with your daughter, though?
She'll probably remember it, but you know how kids are nowadays. She'll probably not appreciate it.
$14,000 for 2 concert tickets. You're that guy.
That's bananas.
Thank you. I think I'm crazy. I think I'm a little crazy.
I agree. My big question this morning is what'd you do for the very first time in 2024? We're finding out that Kat played beer pong for the very first time.
Yeah.
What an
I've done
unblessed life you've had.
Like flip cup and stuff like that. I've never found myself wanting to play. And then I was at an ugly sweater party. It was like garage, 90s ugly sweater college party. They had a keg. They were tapping. It was really fun. And then they had set up the table for beer pong. And I'm like, I've never played, but I didn't
rolled
do
though,
well.
right? You didn't. Did you win?
Or I mean, I didn't do poorly. I only lost by like a cup every single time, and you could only reset once, and then you couldn't bounce. So there were a lot of rules I didn't know.
Did you wind up sick?
No.
You didn't throw up?
Mm-mm.
Good for you.
Yeah.
How's Dominique doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Great.
Good.
Thank you for asking. What'd you do for the very first time in 2024?
I got on my first helicopter ride.
Ooh, that's kind of fun.
That is cool. Where'd you go?
Myrtle Beach.
So it was a tour. Was it a
South
tour?
Carolina. Yeah, we did a 30 to 45-minute ride across the water, all the hotels and everything. It was really nice.
That's awesome. Were the doors open? Or were they closed?
No.
Oh. Well, they have ones with the doors open. Like if you go to Orlando, you could sit there and have the doors open if you want.
I didn't know. So you're telling me this man went the cheap route? Oh,
Oh, you want the doors open. Some people would be very nervous about that.
Oh, would you do it again?
No, I didn't know you could have the doors open.
Yes, like a convertible. It's cool.
Oh, man.
I know.
I know what I'm doing for 2025.
Yeah,
There
now
you
you got to
go.
do it again. So you'll obviously do this again. It didn't shake you or anything like that?
Oh, no.
Wyatt says, I got up in front of a crowd and gave a speech for the first time.
The first time?
Wyatt, I get it. I used to be absolutely petrified. It was not comfortable.
It's a little different when you're in this little studio and that you really don't see people, but all of a sudden when you get on stage and all of a sudden there's 1,000 people out there and they're hanging on your every word, it's a little odd.
Marcia says, I left the U.S. and went to Ireland for 10 days. Awesome trip. That's on my bucket list for sure. And then Crystal says, first time ever eating a Texas Roadhouse. Yummy. It's wild that you can throw your peanut shells evereverywhere.
I know, those guys are
I
savages.
don't like that. I don't feel like I'm kind, like I feel like I'm
Making
breaking a
work for
rule.
somebody?
Right.
Time for Think Fast. Mariah, would you consider yourself a quick thinker?
Sometimes. Just depends.
Depends on the time, the day.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you had your coffee yet this morning?
No, we're actually on our way to get some coffee right now, so
Okay.
I might be a little slower.
All right. Well, it's okay because Kat's struggling this morning as well.
In no way.
I feel
Am
she's
I?
struggling
Okay.
quite a bit today. So you've got a good chance
Called
of winning.
projecting
So
from
the
this
game
one.
is it's called Think Fast. And your name is your buzzer. So as soon as you think you know the answer, you yell out Mariah. You get to yell out Kat. Basically, I'm going to give you a scenario. And if you can get 2 out of 3 and beat Kat, I'm going to load you down with some goodies, okay?
Okay.
Simple enough.
Let's do this, girl.
Kat and Mariah.
Wait, what's the theme? What are we doing?
No theme.
No theme. Just random.
General knowledge.
Oh, God. Okay.
I told you she was struggling. Kat and Mariah. Name a car company that starts with the letter D. Mariah?
Dodge.
Dodge.
Oh, my
yeah.
God.
What's up?
Dip, dodge, duck.
Told you she was
All right.
struggling. This is going to be an easy one
No,
for
I'll
you,
get
Mariah.
the-
Slam
I'll get the
dunk.
rest.
All right, Kat and Mariah, you must think fast and name a food that starts with G.
Cat.
Cat. Oh, she failed. She lost it. Mariah, can you name the food that starts with G?
Oh my gosh.
Nope. Too late. You both took too long.
Say?
I would have said grapefruit.
Oh my God.
Jello, gelatin.
Jello is a J.
Gelatin is a G.
All right.
All right. Well, I'm glad I got a whole bunch of these because apparently neither of you can think fast.
Yeah, keep going.
Kat and Mariah. Name a singer whose first name starts with the letter H.
Cat.
Mariah.
Cat. I heard Cat
Halsey.
first. Halsey. Yes. All right. That was close, Mariah.
I gotta
All right.
take it off.
Here's the tiebreaker. This one's for the win. Who's giving you help back there, Mariah?
My daughter, Sophia.
And how old is she?
She's 7.
She seems more with it than you do this morning. That's not a knock on you. That's just an up for her. So
Yeah, all
this
the
one's
stuff this little child has to worry about around this time of year, huh?
for the dub. Kat and Mariah, think fast and give me a restaurant that starts with the letter W.
Cat.
Mariah.
Whataburger. Yeah. You find yourself seeing that something is like 20 years old, 10 years old. You're like, oh my God, it feels like just yesterday. And they're out with their list of things that will be a decade old, like 60 pop culture moments from 2015. And Bruno Mars, Uptown Funk You Up.
Yeah, I believe this is 10 years old.
Yeah, I felt like it was like older than that for some weird reason. But
It's got old feel.
yeah. But I found, and I went through the list on BuzzFeed, some of these things are hard to believe that they're 10 years old. Selfie sticks started getting super popular in 2015.
And now you don't even blink when you see somebody using one. At first, you were
I
like,
haven't seen one in forever, unless you're on vacation,
Sure.
When's the last one that you saw?
I see them at hockey games every once
you
in a
do?
while, and mostly just so people can get different video angles of their kid.
On that tip, Snapchat introduced filters 10 years ago. They've been my best
And you've
friends
never
since.
looked younger, Kat.
I've never looked younger. Ain't no shame in my game. I don't even care. Someone's like, you should post without a filter sometime. And I'm like, you should
No, none
not
of us need
follow
that.
me anymore.
None of us need that.
But the dog one reigns supreme. When you open your mouth and the tongue comes out.
I like this, the Santa one where it makes everybody look like Santa. That's a good one this time of the year.
That's cute.
I haven't had Snapchat, I don't think, for 2 years now.
What a shame.
I just never used it. I was never getting used. And I get these weird requests from pervy people, and I was like, nah, I'm good.
50 Shades of Grey was released. What a gift.
Wait, the first one was released 10 years ago?
2015.
And they did 3 of them in 10 years, or in 8 years, 7 years? Wow.
I mean, the third one was very like Lifetime movie-ish, I thought. But damn.
They had to find a way to bring it all together.
That's a good series.
It really opened people's eyes a lot.
Yes, it did. All of them. Star Wars returned in a big way, The Force Awakens.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember watching you watch the trailer, and I was like, this guy is just the nerdiest.
And those last 3 were okay. They weren't great. I
Really?
think they're trying to reboot some stuff now, too. I mean, why not? It's a huge moneymaker for those guys.
Do you ever think, where could they go from there? Is that
It's always got to be like
asking?
sooner or later, or you know what I mean? Like they left it as like they probably won't have any more.
Yeah.
But like they can always do the prequel kind of stuff.
And then finally, I thought this one was super disturbing because people just looked crazy. The Kylie Jenner challenge. Do you remember that?
Oh, when they were plumping up their lips?
Well, they'd suck on the bottle cap or like a shot glass, and then your lips, like all the blood vessels would bust in your lips just to get that Kylie Jenner plump lipped. It was just not worth it.
And can't you get lip chap that does that now? Or like,
Yeah, you can
like
get
some
some-
kind of a serum you put on your lips and it pops them up?
Yeah, there's glass with lip plumper in it. But I went through the list, and if you have time today, I don't know if you want to feel that old, but they had 50 more pop culture moments that are going to hit 10 years old, and it's worth a gander.
You had a
Worth
baby.
look. Well, 12 years.
I mean, I know, but he was like a little baby still. You had to watch him do everything. You were constantly monitoring that child.
He's getting his braces off today.
Wow.
How crazy is that?
It'll take you a
months
couple
away.
weeks to get used to it.
He's going to come in here after and show us.
He'll look like something's missing.
Yeah.
When your kid has had, like for a year, if your kid's had braces for a year and then all of a sudden you see him again, you're like, what's going on? Why do you look like that?
I'm excited.